This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome once again to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We're halfway home to the weekend. Yes, today, right? Wednesday? Woo-hoo!
I guess.
That means Friday's around the corner. It means almost Friday Night Lights time. Today's program being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Your home for loaded potato olays. Again, they have their six-pack and a pound. Their sirloin steak burritos. Oh, yes, Taco Tuesdays, which happened yesterday. I already got to look at the next promotion coming up. You're all going to like that one, but we'll talk about that here after Labor Day. Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, where they got battered by the hail. They are your home for Jayco RVs and fifth wheels, and you're going to find some tremendous savings and deals right now at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner, Windmill and Del Range, and Ray and Cindy and the whole gang invite you to come on over, check out their place right across from Menards. Serving up breakfast 6 days a week, so they got two convenient drive-thrus. Grab that cup of coffee and maybe that hash brown scramble bowl as you get ready to go to work, or maybe you're doing the school thing. You can go there too as well. See them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Chick-fil-A, corner of Windmill and Del Range. Key of Cheyenne over in Nation Way, where my special friends Greg and AJ Miller and the entire crew invite you to come on by. Again, take a test drive. Cars sell themselves. They just sit down, do the paperwork for you, and try to, put a deal together that's appropriate for you. Great looking Kias on the lot right now at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2 with banks that do banking the old-fashioned way. Customer service. Yes, we all like that. And over at Platte Valley Bank, Rick and his great staff on Vanda High invite you to stop on in on the north side. On the east side, you're heading on home. Head on over to the College and Pershing Boulevard location, Platte Valley Bank ×2. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. Gene, his great staff, they'll fill those prescriptions precisely, explain those medications to you. They got a convenient drive-through, and they're located right next door to Texas Roadhouse Medicap Pharmacy. Lennox Auto Body, 2 locations. The Auto Glass and Detail Center, busy these days, but you can check them out on Pershing Boulevard, and the Auto and Truck Repair Center on Dunn Avenue. Busy these days over on Dunn Avenue. First Tier Bank, 528 Stillwater Avenue. Again, talk to them about their special CD rates going on. Mondello's Pizzeria, delicious Paisan cuisine, served up 7 days a week. Fresh ingredients and just simply delicious. The Wyoming Montana Safety Council, 635-4592. Marv's Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. You got a little taste of fall, so you might want to give them a call about taking a look at the heating unit right now. And, of course, we get the program underway with our scoreboard, which is brought to you by the fabulous folks at Pepsi of Cheyenne. Nick?
What's wrong with you? Are you getting sick on me again? You sound kind of raspy over there. I just had to point that out. But anyways, on the local...
Something in the air in here.
Oh, please, there always is something here again. We already know this place is just hell on earth, but anyways, at least regarding the building. But LCCC in action, at least women's volleyball, they will be on the road in Western Nebraska, taking on Western Nebraska Community College over the Cougar Palace. That game will get underway at 7 o'clock tonight. It is a battle of top nationally ranked teams, as Western Nebraska is ranked number 4 in the nation, and LCCC is ranked number 12 overall. So a very tough test on the road for LCCC. Hopefully the Golden Eagles will come away with a victory tonight.
Major League Baseball, games that are going on this afternoon in Houston. At Minute Maid, the Swingin' A's.
This is for all the marbles.
Well, game and a half lead right now for the Astros, and they are knotted up in the top of the 8th inning, 4 apiece. Can the Swingin' A's bring it down to a half game, or can the Astros get back to 2.5? Top of the 8th inning, the Mets leading the Cubs 8-1. Nice to see Brandon Nimble back in the lineup. He is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, they had a suspended game completion where the Cubs won that one in 11 earlier today, 2-1. That was postponed due to weather happenings in Chicago.
Go figure.
There's a bulletin. Bottom of the 4th inning. Padres 7, Mariners 1. Oh, by the way, the Padres will host the Rockies for 4, beginning tomorrow evening.
Good luck,
Petco.
Rockies. We saw what happened there at Coors. Have fun.
The Royals have defeated the Motor City Kitties of Detroit 9-2. Games getting underway. Matter of fact, while we're on the air, it will be the Red Sox hosting the Marlins. After we get off the air, it will be the Blue Jays at the O's, White Sox and the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, Nats and the Phillies at Citizens Bank Ballpark. It will be the Twins and the Indians at Progressive Field, Brewers and the Reds at Great American Ballpark, Rays and the Braves at SunTrust Park in Cumberland, Georgia at 5:35. 6 o'clock game, we'll have the Dodgers and the Rangers again in Texas. 6:15, we'll have the Pirates and the Cardinals at Busch. Giants, who have taken 2 out of 3 thus far from the Diamondbacks, and they'll send Derek Rodriguez on the hill, who's been fantastic for the Giants. Giants and the Diamondbacks tonight, 8:15 at AT&T. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on the Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We almost had an entire show filled up with guests. One.
What do you mean? We still have 3 guests today.
Well, one had to back out though at the last minute.
Yeah, but then I replaced it with something else.
Well, here can I
mention
who we got coming up on the program today?
You can.
In this hour, we will be joined by Brian Berryhill. He's the track and field cross country head coach at the University of Wyoming, so he will be joining us here around 3:30. Kevin McKinney.
Big meet coming up in Cheyenne, so we will talk about that coming up this weekend.
We'll have Kevin McKinney around 4:10, Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Wyoming. One of the things that
tentative schedule, again, with Kevin, try to confirm with him. Again, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, hopefully. A couple of things. There's actually 3 things. Big game on Saturday. The renewal of the BYU.
How about talking to your mic?
Huh?
How about talking to your mic instead over it?
Well, I'm talking into it, I thought.
Nope.
All right, so we got BYU and Wyoming getting together for a 2-game series.
Renewed in, you got to have to wait about 4 years, 6 years for it to be in Laramie.
Then, if you did not hear, UW's Kellen Overstreet has called it a career in Laramie. So we'll get his thoughts on all of that. And then a couple of injuries leading into the ball game on Saturday. And other things that are going on as well, in addition to football. There's volleyball that's also happening. Soccer.
We can't keep him on too long because there's going to be someone right behind him as well too. Joining us from Gillette, Wyoming. Yeah, from Basin, at least the Basin Radio Network. He is a sports director up there, but also does play-by-play for the Thunder Basin Bolts. So we'll get a recap from him, at least pick his brain on the Thunder Basin Bolts football team, see if they are for real in his eyes, and if this is a team that could compete and possibly raise a state championship up in Gillette.
You have a Gillette broadcaster on our radio station who's we're going to ask him the question, is the Thunder Basin Bolts for real? These guys, all they do is want championships. That's all they care about.
I get that, but also too, he's got to come.
This
is a guy who's coming in fresh from, I do believe, Kansas into Gillette, Wyoming. So again,
he's last year.
Yeah, but he's not a hometown guy. So again, he's going to bring a little objectivism, hopefully, at least a little bit. Again, where maybe he'll tell us, is Thunder Basin what we saw? Is this the team we should expect throughout this season? Are they going to put up a similar performance against Cheyenne South coming up this weekend? Again, there's a lot of questions about this Bolts team, but also to, again, kind of recap of his thoughts of what happened this past, at least Friday, over there at Cheyenne Central.
We want to relive that again?
Well,
we're going to relive it from his.
Then you do the interview again.
I'm not.
I like to see you book any guests.
No, I'm out here. Hey, you do want to mention that Nimmo is back from the Mets after doing a little stint with Port St. Lucie's 2 for 4 in the second game against the Chicago Cubs today. So good to see that Brandon's back hitting the ball once again for the Metropolitans, who basically suck. Let's see.
No surprise there.
Well, the Rockies, I guess we can go there first. They are tied for first with the Arizona Diamondbacks, thanks to
You're welcome. Yeah.
San Francisco. But we are chuckling today, and I know it's kind of far-fetched. Giants are now 6 games out. They've moved within striking distance. They're at the Mendoza
not
line.
Insanely far-fetched. I mean, they are. I don't see them taking over and winning the West anytime soon. Again, where you have the vault over 3 other teams, but for the Giants, at least they are a respectable 500 team right now, sitting, I do believe, at 67 and 67. So, I mean, it's a positive mark for this team. Hey, you want to be, especially with everything you've dealt with this season, losing one Buster Posey, the face of that franchise. It's a situation with the San Francisco Giants. As much as you want to write them off, I don't think that team absolutely doesn't believe that they're out of it, and we'll see what happens. Again, they need the victory tonight and win a few other series. Again, they're going to have a key with at least Colorado coming back here, at least down to Denver, and also too, I do believe that they'll see the Dodgers a few more times. So teams that are above them, teams that they'll need to win against, it's not too far-fetched.
Interesting with the Diamondbacks that the Giants lead this series 11-7. So this will be the last time that they play the Diamondbacks tonight.
Yeah. And
Derek Rodriguez, who, again, that's Pudge's son, he has been the minor phenom for the Giants this year.
He's a diamond in the rough for the Giants. He's had his ups and downs, but certainly been a positive where, where you're missing a Cueto, you're missing a Samardzija. You've had a little issues with your starters, or at least trying to keep them in lengthy kind of contests with the Giants, but again, something that the Giants should be very happy with, or at least show positive, thoughts towards. Hey, this is a guy we can, he's going to be a part of this future of this team if we want to keep winning.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. When he was brought up through the minors, wasn't he an infielder? Because he's a pretty good hitter.
I have no idea.
So pitching is like the second bonus that you get from Derek Rodriguez. So he's a multitasker, but
I wouldn't doubt, again, learning from Pudge. He probably knows how to catch as well, too.
Yeah, he found his career as a pitcher now, and he's doing good things with the Giants. 6-1, 2.30 ERA. So, possibly, as we get ready for work tomorrow morning, the Rocks could be a half game up in the West. Worst they can be is a half game down in the West.
Yeah.
And really, we sit here and we're going, interesting.
Especially since the Rockies, I don't think you mentioned, but again, Rockies will be idle. They do not play today.
I mentioned that. Well, they got 4 in San Diego beginning tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Sunday.
Shows how much I pay attention to you again.
Well, that's right. Nobody listens to you either. But the point is with the Giants, though, if they can get the sweep tonight, then you got to kind of step back a little bit and say they're only 5.5 out.
at this point in time, it's a very large number. You might as well put a 1 in front of it and make it double digits. It does, again, where you have to vault over 3 other teams with the Dodgers, with the Rockies, with
they don't face
Arizona.
the Diamondbacks no more. So it's basically
well, and that's a team that you would hope that you would want to see at least in one more series again, where they are at the top, at least at this moment in time. Again, it is something where you want to have that control of, well, maybe Arizona does figure out things against a few other series going forward. Hey, we want to have that opportunity, but it's a gigantic mountain to climb for the Giants of trying to vault over 3 other teams. Where Dodgers, I mean, they're playing okay ball, nothing fantastic. Rockies find a way to falter in Los Angeles against the Angels. They're going to have a few tough ones on the road against San Diego. The Padres are going to give them a tough fight. They clearly did in Coors Field. And with Arizona, they're on par with all rest, at least of these teams in the NL West, where they can steal series, they can lose them very easily. You don't know what to expect. But there is no clear-cut winner for the NL West.
Right.
And again, here we are, 2-3 weeks away from at least wrapping this thing up?
Well, there's 30 games left. And just, real quick here, let's look at the front runners right now in the West. And you got to have the Giants in there. So you're looking at some of the last 30 games, 4 with the Padres for the Rockies. Then they have San Francisco in town for 3. They're also going to face Mad Bum on that stint. They got the Dodgers at home for 3. They got Arizona home for 4. So you want to talk about a big 10-game homestand for the Rocks? That will pretty much determine if they're going to be Western Division champions. Then they go to San Francisco for 3, Dodgers for 3, Arizona for 3, Philly, and then they wrap up with the Washington Nationals. So that's the Rockies' schedule.
It's not a piece of cake schedule by any means.
No. But that 10-game...
Very, very losable contest. And, again, all those teams minus Washington, again, teams that are within it or at least trying to vie for a playoff spot. Again, especially out of the NL West, all 4 of those teams are still within it. There is no other option. It is winning that West, and that's it. You are not getting into the wild card. There's no chance. I don't see that, especially with how well other teams in the Central and out in the East are doing compared to the West. There's no opportunity. It is winning that West Division title, and that's all you got.
Well, with that 10-game homestand, and we already know the Broncos are going to suck, so that is going to draw some huge crowds at Coors Field because they're going to be.
We'll see.
They're relatively going to be into it because again. You would hope.
Again, these are fans that can be a little bit fickle.
I understand, but the worst they should do in San Diego is lose 1. They should take 3 out of 4.
They could get swept in San Diego. We've seen San Diego has been dominating
the season.
And they're going to face,
I do believe, 2, maybe 3 lefties in that series. So, looking at the Dodgers, Chris's Dodgers, Texas, Arizona, they'll be home for Arizona. They'll be home for the New York Mets. Then, as I mentioned,
so 2 very winnable series.
They go to Colorado. Then they're at Cincinnati.
3 winnable.
At St. Louis for 4. Then they're taking on the Rocks at Chavez Ravine. San Diego for 3. At Arizona. They only face the Giants 3 more times in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So
you have 5 winnable series for the Dodgers. Again, if you look at the schedule for majority of these teams, it's very favorable for the Dodgers to take over the NL West or at least win this division title again, especially when you're seeing the likes of, all right, here's Cincinnati. They have nothing to play for. Also, too, here's Texas. They got nothing going on in the AL West.
You saw what Cincinnati did to the Giants, so they snuck up on them. I know it's the Giants and I know it's the Dodgers. It's a night and day difference. But the Dodgers are a game out, so obviously they're fighting more for that division. So I'll give you that. Let's look at the Diamondbacks schedule here, as, again, we'll hear some repeats. So they go to, they'll wrap up with the Giants tonight. Then they're at Los Angeles, San Diego for a couple. Then they take on Atlanta for 4 at home. They'll have the Rockies at Colorado, at Houston for 3.
All right.
That's going to be a tough series. That'll be one that the A's will be looking at.
Yeah.
They got the Cubs at Chase, Rockies, Dodgers, and then they wrap up the season. And really, if you look at the last part of the year, they got San Diego for the final 3 games at San Diego.
Again, at this point in time, it's anyone's division to win. There's no clear cut, at least, again, if you had to go off of favorability, at least with strength of schedule, the weakest schedule out there on the blocks is for the Dodgers at this point. They should, in theory, win this with win this NL West, but are they going to? Are they going to take advantage of it? Who knows? It's a team that does. It's had opportunities throughout the season, is not cashed in on any point in time. No one in this NL West has as well, too. Again, where Arizona, hey, you had a shot to just elevate and break away from the pack of the NL West. You didn't. Rockies, hey, here's your shot to get back into it, but they can lose it very quickly. Who knows? Who knows at this point?
How about this for the Giants then? So they wrap up with Arizona tonight. Then they're at home for a weekend series with the Mets. They go to Colorado. They go to Milwaukee. They have Atlanta at home for 3. The Rocks will come to San Francisco. They go to San Diego. Then they got to go to St. Louis. Then they come back home for San Diego, and then they wrap up with the Dodgers.
Yeah. No, well,
again,
I don't
know. How the West will be won, we don't
30 games left. I don't really care of these series. It's more so of what's going to be game 162. I think it's going to be a situation like that where you're going to have maybe one or at least 2, 3 teams within it at that point of going, all right, here's the final game, here's the last decision. I think it's going to come down to that of how close-knit this NL West has been the entire season. It's going to be like that. And at this point in time, reading into series, I don't really care at this point. There's nothing to. It's all fine and dandy on paper, but at this point, you can't read into any one of those series for the Rockies, for the Giants, for the Dodgers, for the Diamondbacks. Any one of them can lose any of those series. Right. Anyone can win all those series.
Let's wrap this up, though. So the last weekend, as you said, it could be down to that last weekend.
I think it will. Okay. I think you're going to have probably legitimately 3 teams that will be clumped together, maybe a half game tied. Who knows? It's going to be that last series of this season is going to matter.
All right, so
it is that tight. It has been like that this entire season. I don't see I don't see one of these teams taking advantage. I don't see the Rockies, if for whatever reason the Diamondbacks lose tonight to the Giants, which they could, where the Rockies will be in first place for the first time, I think, this entire season. It's a division lead that they could easily lose. We've seen them go cold many times. We've seen them lose series because of that bullpen. That bullpen is still the same of what we've had throughout this entire regular season. So there's no guarantee with any four of those teams.
So the last weekend, September 28th, 29th, 30th. Because, again, we're going to be flipping the calendar over here pretty quick to September. Mm-hmm. So the last weekend series for the West, Rockies will have the Nats at Coors Field.
All right.
Arizona will be at San Diego, and the Dodgers will be in San Francisco. So anybody you say who has the easier schedule will probably be Arizona. With San Diego.
I would give more of the advantage to Rockies with the Nationals because, again, Nationals, not in the same division at that point. They probably keyed in and don't really care. I think those 3 games are, if you had to put points on it or at least put a sportsbook estimate on it, I would think you'd have to give favoritism to the Rockies on all 3 of those games just because I think the Nats at that point are going to cash out and they don't really need to play spoiler. It's not a team in their division. They don't care. They can roll over and die. They don't. Again, It's a team at that point is not going to be playing for anything.
Prior to them, they've got Philadelphia. So, it's going to be fun baseball. And again, you know me, I can watch baseball all year long, and I'm going to really hate to see the season end here on September 30th because, again, the West, and you and me have discussed this ad nauseum this spring and summer. This West is going to be a bloodbath, and it's been a bloodbath.
It's already been. I don't know. That's why I'm saying nothing has been different at this point in time. This is back and forth. There's no clear-cut winner, as we've seen at least in the previous seasons, especially with the Los Angeles Dodgers, especially what we saw last season with what they were doing. This is a point in time where, again, it's going to come down to that last series. Whoever does best in those best of 3 or at least best of 4, hey, there you go. That's your winner. I think it's going to come down to that. Who has the advantage when it comes down to that final series? Again, in my opinion, I think it's going to be the Colorado Rockies. You're playing a team that's not playing for anything, not in your division, has no reason to spoil anything for you. There you go. It's a team that should roll over and die. Padres, hey, we play against you in the West. Arizona, we don't want you to have it. We're going to play spoiler. Dodgers and Giants, that's a rivalry. Obviously, none of those teams want to give
and the Giants, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Giants lead that series, too, against the Dodgers right now. If you did not know, tomorrow night, is the final tune-up for the National Football League.
Who cares?
Exactly. And I had a buddy of mine today say, "You gonna watch the Broncos tomorrow night? You gonna watch the Broncos?" It's like,
No. I got better things to do.
He goes, "Why not? Aren't you a Bronco fan?" I said, "Yeah, I like the Broncos, but I don't care. I don't care about who starts
I'd rather
tomorrow."
watch paint dry than the Broncos preseason game.
So before we go to the break, because I know we're going to be checking in with Brian Berryhill very shortly, let's run the schedule down just for giggles.
Oh,
Everybody's in action tomorrow night.
good for them.
Miami will be at Atlanta. Indianapolis at Cincinnati. Cleveland's at Detroit. New England at New York. Giants. The New York Jets at Philly. Carolina will be at Pittsburgh. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. Washington at Baltimore. Buffalo in Chicago. Minnesota at Tennessee. The Los Angeles Rams will face the New Orleans Saints in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It will be
Get through this quickly. Come on. You're boring me to death.
Dallas
this
and
is just
Houston.
awful.
Green Bay at Kansas City. Denver will visit Arizona. And the Los Angeles Chargers will be in San Francisco or Santa Clara to face the 49ers. Seattle and Oakland will match up at Central League Field.
And guess what? All those games you listed off, what do they mean?
Absolutely
Nothing.
Nothing.
They don't mean squat. It doesn't. All it is to determine who's going to be your second and third, and maybe out in Buffalo if they need to.
This is your final cut down game.
Well,
this is, basically.
because we already knew, some teams have already come out and announced. So, for instance, with the New York Jets, we already know that Sam Darnold is going to be your starter. Even before playing that game,
Rosen.
He's got to be a guarantee. You're not. If the Cardinals go with Bradford, they're just ridiculous.
That's what I was hearing though, that Bradford still is number one.
We'll see. I preseason, the pulse on stuff like that. I've so far gone. I don't really care. We'll see it on week one. It's kind of like what we're seeing right now with Mike Leach out with Washington State. Again, here we are before their first contest against Wyoming coming up this Saturday. He's kind of playing around of, well, he's our listed number one quarterback, but or there's three other options that we can go with.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We have the or
week one. That's when, okay, cool. There's your starter. I'm happy.
All right. Well, we are going to pause here for a little bit. Oh, by the way, I want to mention before we take the break that you have more tickets to give away today, pair of tickets, and some eats and good stuff.
Do it later because we got things to do
from our friends over at Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange. But again, Nick has been working the social media thing, and we have again 2 tickets that will be given away. When do you want to do that?
We'll do it when we do it.
Well, no, because that way, if there are people that are still signing up.
How about people, you tune in for the show, and we'll announce it when we announce it. How about that? So they tune in for the show.
All right. So,
all right. Am I right?
Yeah, you're.
Gosh. We do need to get to our guests right now.
Yeah, we need to take a time out. We'll be back with Brian Berryhill from the University of Wyoming after these words.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and
Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 82 and winds of the southwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 51. On Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 84. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Proati along with Nick Proati and Brian Berryhill, who is the track and field cross country head coach at the University of Wyoming. We had a chance to listen to his conversation when he was addressing the media during Media Day not too long ago. I mean, gosh, 4 weeks ago we were over there.
It seems like eons ago.
Yeah.
Especially now as we are in the regular season for most of these sports that we got to listen to.
And, Coach, we want to welcome you on board. Thank you so much for joining us. You're in your 7th year at the University of Wyoming. So, again, let's talk about some stuff that's going on. We're going to get into a very special meet that you got going on here on the 31st. Let's before we get into the young men and women that you have running for you, talk about your athletes right now enjoying some of the benefits of being at the University of Wyoming, for example, at the High Altitude Performance Center.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing facility the High Altitude Performance Center is. And, you know, we've only been over there for about a week with our student athletes, but they're loving every minute that they get to spend over there. You
know, Coach, as I look at the facility and all that it offers, and again, too, your track and field or your cross-country athletes, they have to be on a very, I would assume, strict diet regimen. I'm assuming that there are special meals that are prepared for your young men and women there, too?
Yeah, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Friday is provided at the High Altitude Performance Center, and then they also have the fueling station, which is open most of the day for them to go in there and get some snacks or kind of get the recovery process started right after they get done running or lifting some weights.
And again, I'm glad you mentioned lifting weights because a cross-country runner, you know, the first thing you think of, they're running miles, and that's all they're doing. They're training miles, but there's a lot more involved just instead of just lacing them up and going 5 and 10Ks and running half marathons.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they do a lot of plyometrics. They get in the weight room twice a week, and a lot of that's just preventative stuff. You know, we're not trying to get these huge max PRs in the bench or squats, but just we get a lot of overuse injuries in our sport. So a lot of what we do over there is just to help prevent those overuse injuries.
As you gear up for your first meet of the season, let's talk about your team. We'll first go over to the men's side where you have a lot of products from Wyoming and again,
one local product came out of Cheyenne
here from Cheyenne. So again, it looks like you kind of stayed in your own backyard here to get people to tackle the rough terrain, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, we're pretty excited about this men's team, and yeah, over half of our cross country roster are athletes that ran in the state of Wyoming in high school, and you know, we have some great high school coaches that do a good job preparing these kids to compete at the Division I level. So we're definitely excited that you know, a lot of the roster is Wyoming kids, and like I say, we're excited about this team in general. We think we're ready to make some big jumps on the men's side this year.
And at least for the recruiting process, especially whether it is men or women's roster, especially for cross country, is it kind of heavily, at least spotlight on the local kind of area, especially in Wyoming down to Colorado, especially with the altitude that they are accustomed to, what is going to be the at least altitude, especially over there in Laramie with the 7220. Is that kind of a big focus, or at least a big reason for kind of at least local, at least getting those products to Laramie?
Yeah, you know, it definitely lets us know that they can handle training at altitude and racing at altitude, which is a plus. Most people can transition from sea level, but not everybody does. So it lets you know that, you know, they're going to be used to the training in the weather outside. You know, cross country, we train outside 99% of the time. So, you know, we know they're going to be able to handle the climate and everything that throws at you. So a lot of those factors definitely play into why we kind of recruit the region for cross country.
Coach, as you look ahead on your schedule, and matter of fact, I did here, picking out a date like October 13th, you head to Sunnyvale, California. And again, running at high altitudes like we do up here. And then again, you drop down to, practically sea level in Sunnyvale. What does that do for the runners as far as the endurance? Does it make them run faster and jump higher? I mean, what does it do as they go down in elevation?
Well, I'm not sure you care if they jump higher on the cross-country team, but as far as the running faster, for sure, it makes it easier for them to run down there. Training at this high altitude, you produce more red blood cells, and so all of those play into making it a little bit easier to go down to sea level or close to it and get a faster performance out of it.
Talking about your first meet this season, and again, we're honored that you are going to be coming over here to Cheyenne, and you're going to run at the Little America. And it's going to be a 5K for men and women. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
that's correct. Yeah.
And then also too, why Little America? I know that some of our cross country high school programs will pick out the Prairie View Golf Course. Is that because of more of a terrain type of setting there at Little America?
Yeah, we were kind of looking for a golf course first, and then one that had a little bit of terrain to it. And we reached out to Little America, and they've just been great to work with for us. And, we think we've put together a really kind of fun and challenging 5K course there at Little America.
So now, at least because this is being referenced as the Wyoming Invite for Wyoming Cross Country coming up again this Friday, at least start times for 6 o'clock over there at Little America Golf Course. Now, for you, Coach, was Cheyenne the first target, at least on your map, to at least host this Wyoming Invite, or were other cities around the Cowboy State, including Laramie, on your target, or at least trying to work of at least hosting this Wyoming Invite?
Yeah, when we started talking about putting a cross-country meet together again, this will be the first time in 7 years we've hosted. We kind of wanted to have an outreach event. We do that for track and field as well. We go up to Gillette for an indoor meet, so that's clear up in the north part of the state. So we thought it'd be nice to have something in another city outside of Laramie, but down more towards the southern part. So Cheyenne was definitely the place that we kind of handpicked from the beginning to try to host this meet.
Before we get into the field that will be participating with you coming up here on the 31st, let's talk about the Cowgirl roster. We talked about the guys, so let's talk about the young ladies that you got running for you. And again, you got some veterans coming back to lead the way, so to speak.
Yeah, we do. On the women's side, we're going to be a little bit of a younger team. We do have some veterans coming back with some leadership, but on the men's side, our ultimate goal is to redshirt all of our incoming freshmen. On the women's side, we're going to need some of those incoming freshmen to be immediate impact runners for us. So a little more youth there, but we've been pretty impressed with what the freshmen have shown us so far in our preseason camp.
So as you look at the field coming up for this meet on the 31st, the Falcons will be in town, Air Force, and Colorado State from the Mountain West, Northern Colorado, and the CU Buffaloes. Again, let's talk about the competition that you'll be facing here at Little America.
Yeah, both the men's and women's races will be extremely challenging. The men's side even a little more so. There's 3 teams. Air Force is ranked 16th right now. Colorado State's ranked 9th in the country, and CU is ranked 7th in the country. So there's going to be 3 teams there that are in the top 16 in the entire NCAA. So we're going to get a challenge right out the gate here. But I think our men's team is ready to show that we can compete with those guys.
Coach, I don't want to be silly here when I ask this question, but we've had a lot of moisture in this part of the world. And again, I know playing golf out at Little America, I got eaten up by a pile of mosquitoes out there. So I know it's been damp out there throughout the bulk of the summer. And, of course, we're going to be running with the ladies at 6 o'clock and the guys running at 6:30. Does mosquitoes come into play, or do you guys have protection against with all of the bad elements that could possibly happen when you're running?
Well, I'm not sure about the mosquitoes. A couple times we've been over there, it's been the middle of the day when it's sunny and pretty hot, so we haven't had much of an issue with them. But I don't think it's going to bother the runners. Usually, once you get moving, they tend not to bother you.
All righty, Coach. Real quick here, let's run down the schedule. In addition to the Wyoming Invite, you'll be headed off to Lincoln, South Bend, Indiana, Denver. As I mentioned, in October, Sunnyvale. You'll go to Madison, Wisconsin. The Mountain West Championships held in San Diego. I'm sure you're not too hurt by that. Then you have the NCAA Mountain Regional in Provo, and then the NCAA Championships will be in Madison, Wisconsin. Talk about the schedule, your goals, and hopes for both the men and women this season.
Yeah, so the schedules, we kind of, middle of the year, we kind of split the squads a little bit, and that was by design. We tried to put together a little more challenging schedule for the men's team. I think we put together about as challenging of a schedule as you can. So we, like I said earlier, I think they got a good shot to get to the NCAAs, and in order to do that, you got to race the best in the country. So that was designed for that. And then on the women's side, maybe a little less competitive meets, a little younger team, and we kind of wanted them to get into races where they can be competitive. And I think we did that for both squads as the best we could.
Real quick, during the off season, again, which would be throughout the course of the summer, what kind of programs did you set up for the young men and women as they got ready to get together with you and start practicing for meet number 1 coming up here in Cheyenne?
Yeah, and in cross country you have to have a good summer, and that's tough because they're pretty much away from our coaching for the whole summer. We can give them suggested workouts, but it's up to them to get out there and put the miles in. And these kids are putting in anywhere from 60 to 100 miles in a week, so a lot of that responsibility falls on their shoulders. So you're always a little nervous that first week of practice to see where everybody's at. But man, I'm really proud of these kids and the position they put themselves in right now early in the year.
Coach, we wish you all the best this season for both the men and women's cross-country teams. And again, looking forward to you coming over here in Cheyenne on the 31st. Go ahead.
Do at least keep it on the theme with the Wyoming Invite, again, coming up this Friday. Again, start times at 6 o'clock over at Little America Golf Course. But, Coach, I'm assuming fans are encouraged to come on out and at least support the Wyoming Cowboys and Cowgirls out there. And also, too, not to put you on the spot, do we know if there's a kind of entrance fee or at least maybe a price of admission to watch this meet coming up?
No, it'd be free admission, and we'd love to have as many people there as possible. Like I say, we have a lot of Wyoming kids on our roster, so it'd be great if we could get a good fan base out there. And we tried to make this course when we designed it fan-friendly, so you're not going to have to run around the whole course to see the athletes. You're going to be able to stand in one spot and see them probably 6 or 7 different times without having to jog a 5K yourself.
All righty, Coach. Well, we thank you so much for joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Good luck for the season for the cross-country squads.
Okay, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Brian Berryhill, track and field and cross-country head coach at the University of Wyoming, again in his 7th season as the Tracksters will be heading over here to Cheyenne coming up on Friday. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Nick, before we go to the break. The one thing that there's no entrance fee, those that are going to be out there cheering on the runners, especially from the University of Wyoming or some of the locals. It's a tough thing that they're going to be going up against. You got 2 football games in town this weekend too. You got South hosting the Thunder Basin
especially
Bolts,
where you do have a one Chinese product with Michael Downey, who will be competing in this cross-country event. But unfortunately, Cheyenne's, guess what, is in town as well. And I would think a lot of those Thunderbird fans are going to be cheering on the East High as they got a big one against Kelly Walsh coming up at 6 o'clock, which
that's what I was going to mention. That's why I threw that out there because, again, the KW East game has been moved to 6 p.m.
Yeah, so 5:30 will be pregame here on 1480 K-Ray. Again, not 7 as your promo says, but it's now 6 because, again, we got that information earlier this morning.
Yeah, and, again, we'll update that. So, again, 5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock kickoff from the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
Either what you can do as well, too, is, you can tune in to 1480 K-Ray, have it on your cell phone, again, where most smartphones can pull up YouTube, Periscope, or our 1480 K-Ray website. Go out to watch the cross-country event, but have us pulled up as well, too, if you want to at least keep tuned in for East High versus Kelly Walsh coming up this Friday at 6 o'clock. And, again, just want to remind, again, with the Wyoming Invite cross-country, that is over at Little America Golf Course. Coming up this Friday, men will get underway, or at least women will get underway with their 5K at 6 o'clock, and the men at 6:30 all over there at Little America. And again, you will see the likes of Air Force, Colorado State, and Northern Colorado. And as Coach did mention, a lot of these schools nationally ranked coming to this invite. So again, a lot of big competition that the Cowboys and Cowgirls will be facing this weekend.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with more of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Boys, I know you take great pride in being prairie dogs, but a mascot needs more sizzle. And what has more sizzle than Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos? So meet your new mascot, a sirloin steak burrito.
Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos are loaded with steak and bold flavors like cheesesteak, steak and potato, and steak and shrimp.
God, Wachowski, stop eating the mascot.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Is your free checking account no longer free? Lose those checking account fees and lose the hassle by switching to Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking and experience truly free checking. With Platte Valley Bank's Value Checking, there is no minimum balance required, unlimited check writing, no per check charge, no monthly service charge, free net banking, free e-statements, free bill pay, free mobile banking, and Platte Valley Bank customers can use their debit cards at any ATM anywhere absolutely free. So stop by Platte Valley Bank today and lose those fees with Value Checking.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
This is R.J. Fox. 1480 K-Ray is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Join me as you'll hear all the play-by-play of Cheyenne East, Cheyenne Central, and Cheyenne South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason as well. During the basketball season, 1480 K-Ray will be featuring both boys and girls games. So catch all the calls on AM 1480 K-Ray. Also streaming the games online at 1480kray.com.
It's that time again for students to head back to school. Please be vigilant and pay attention to the students who are walking or riding their bikes to school or waiting at their bus stops. Let's do our part to avoid any accidents by following the rules of the road and observing all posted speed limits. Drive safe and support our schools and our students. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 82 and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15. And tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 51. On Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 84. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Once again, Brian Berryhill, thank you so much for joining us, the track and field cross country head coach at the University of Wyoming. Again, the Wyoming Invite coming up this Friday evening over at Little America. 5K course set up for the ladies at 6 p.m. The guys to run at 6:30.
And it's the one rare that it is a men and women event where throughout their schedule they will split off, where men will be, again, having a little bit tougher route throughout this season. Women will have their own kind of route throughout the regular season, where, again, as you mentioned, with the women after this invite will be in Lincoln, Nebraska. Men will be in South Bend, Indiana, and then splitting off women down in Denver. Women also, too, will be in Sunnyvale, California, and then the men will be back for pre-nationals up in Madison, Wisconsin.
So, again, a busy schedule on tap for the cross-country.
A lot of road tripping for all of them.
Runners coming up here throughout the course of the season. And the good thing for the cross-country team, they get to run while the weather is still pretty decent in this part of the world. We have coming up for you some football talk, and we also have some football goodies to give away. So what we'll do is give away some football goodies, and Nick Proetti will take it away.
See, I had to give him a better lead up of that, where you go off of the Wyoming invite coming up this Friday. We have high school football coming up this Friday. And on Saturday, we have football as well, too, on the college ranks. We got a busy schedule here in this little corner of Wyoming. A lot of things happening in the state of Wyoming. Again, as we've been giving away tickets for Washington State versus Wyoming, the first home game of this season, to go see the Cowboys take on the Cougars. Coming up this Saturday, 1:30 kickoff time over there in Laramie, Wyoming, along with also a pair of goodies to go see our friends over at Chick-fil-A on the corner of Delrange and Windmill. Again, congratulations to our winner, Sean Schneidmiller, of Monday. Yesterday was Cheyenne's head golf coach, Paul Hardigan. And today, with all the additions of all the new, and again, thank you to everyone who has gone on both the Twitter and Facebook side and entered for a chance to win these tickets. Again, we have one pair to give away today and one last pair to give away on tomorrow's show. So again, thank you to all. We had well over, I think, 200 people enter for this, and it's still growing at this point in time. So again, thank you to all who have, at this point in time, signed up for an entry.
And again, this ticket is an $85 ticket, so $170 for the pair.
Like, the price doesn't matter. And again, if you try to resell them, guess what? We'll find you.
If you're trying
we know how to.
So don't even be thinking about that.
And there will be repercussions.
Don't let these tickets burn either. Again, you win them, come on by, and please pick them up.
I think Paul Hardigan, he was thankful that, he was thanking me when he picked them up and going, hey, glad you guys were putting on this contest. I was trying to figure out a way to go see this game with my I do believe, a friend of his. So I was like, hey, no problem, Paul. So he was the lucky winner. Who will be the lucky winner today out of the Fishbowl of Awesomeness? I'm going to reach in. I think I got a winner here. All right, it's going to be Dustin Keener. Dustin Keener off of the Facebook side. I will notify you on Facebook later today how you pick up your tickets and your goodies from Chick-fil-A. Again, you will have that opportunity all the way throughout this week to pick it up during specific times. But again, I will notify you on the Facebook side and Twitter as well, too, of how you come by and get your prize winning. So congratulations to Dustin Keener,
who joins Sean and Paul.
Yeah.
So 3 guys. Where are the ladies at?
They're in there. I can't help it.
All right. So
it's all fair. If you can see on the Periscope and YouTube side, which is in high definition now, again, they're all in there. The entries are in there. I cut out what? I put names on Notepad, and I cut out, I do believe, over 12 sheets of paper.
Well, we'll have another drawing. It'll be our last drawing for tomorrow. So
again, whoever enters over on the Twitter side or the Facebook side, again, you still have a chance. Your name's still retained in that Fishbowl of Awesomeness to have that opportunity to win a pair of tickets to go see Washington State versus Wyoming coming up this Saturday.
So make sure you're getting down here. We won't have a program on Friday. We'll be here somewhat up until the mid part of the afternoon.
Yeah, something like that. We got things to do on Friday.
We don't have better things. We got to set up. Our setup time.
That is better things. I'm getting ready again. Our new visual production and also to audio production for Cheyenne East versus Kelly Walsh. Oh, I'm looking forward. It was working out the kinks on week 0, but week 1, oh boy, NFL, Fox, CBS, and NBC, all you football at least productions. Eat your heart out. I'm going to rival yours.
Oh, pretty soon you're going to start showing replays too. That'll be there. You go. You said you're going to rival them. We need to see replays.
I probably could.
Let's do it. Don't say something that you can't.
You're the one saying everything. I'm just saying of my production value.
You saying you could? I want to see.
I could, but I probably can't.
Oh, okay. All right,
I'm doing a lot of other things that other entities around town can't do. So
that's fine. All right, let's talk a couple things here in the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers has signed an extension with the Green Bay Packers, according to their general manager. The record-breaking 4-year. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, when is this going to come to a grinding halt?
They got money. The owners got money. They're going to lock up their star player. Go figure.
Are you ready for this? $134 million extension that actually could be worth up to $180 million in total money.
Does the guy not deserve it? Guy who's brought championships to Green Bay?
But he's been injured the last couple of seasons as well, too.
I still think he's talented when he's healthy, though.
The deal
he is the reason why, if the Packers fault or at least are having a rough season, is because he is normally injured. I think the Packers, they desperately need him. He is that anchor of that team where, hey, without him, it's kind of like with the Patriots with Tom Brady. When he was injured, you got lucky with your backup, but it's a situation where you'd much rather have this guy at your helm and full healthy.
Well, the deal will run through the 2023 season. Rodgers will turn 40 when that season appears. Again, the Pleasant Valley High School graduate of Chico, California.
The guy who could have been a 49er, but whatever.
Yeah. Didn't he go?
I'm happy with Jimmy G.
Didn't he go to Cal? Does that sound about right?
I think so.
Finish out his last 2 years there. Well, anyway, so Aaron Rodgers is inked in. So with that being said, so they got Aaron taken care of. So if something happens to Aaron Rodgers this season, it will be up to Deshaun Kaiser, not Brett Hundley, to keep the Green Bay Packers season afloat.
Yeah,
the Packers traded Hundley to the Seahawks today for a 2019 draft pick. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll says the trade has not been finalized as Hundley has to travel to Seattle.
He had a few trades today as well, too, especially with a few notable quarterbacks, I do believe. One Jet backup was on the move as well, too, I do believe.
Yeah, we'll get to some of that later on. I just wanted to throw some Green Bay notes out here. And then Broncos quarterback Paxton Lynch said this week that his future is on his mind, and he's trying to hang on to his roster spot after falling to number 3 on the depth chart heading into the final preseason game for tomorrow evening against the Arizona Cardinals.
Just release him. He's a worthless cause at this point in time. Again, you've already shown Denver that you have no interest. He has already fallen down your depth chart. You put all this confidence in him last year and go, well, you're not getting it done. This Chad Kelly guy is a lot better than you, and also, too, we have our boy of Case Keenum. Again, stop torturing the poor guy and just get rid of him.
Well, and I think if the Broncos do waive Lynch, and we can get to that here briefly. If they do waive Lynch, I would think, and they go carry only 2 quarterbacks, that there will be quarterbacks available throughout the course of the season. There usually are. So Lynch, whom the Broncos traded up to select in the first round of the 2016 draft, 26th overall.
I bet they regret that.
Oh, yeah. He had lost back-to-back training camp battles with Trevor Siemian in the previous 2 summers. And this time around, he has slid to number 3 on the depth chart behind Case Keenum and Chad Kelly as the Broncos approach Saturday's deadline to reduce the rosters. And this is where this is the big cut from 90 to 53 players. So 37 bodies are going to be going bye-bye. Bring your playbook in. See you later.
Yeah.
And I would not be shocked. And again, I sat here back in 2016 said, I can hardly wait for this guy to play. Unfortunately, I did not realize he had nothing between the ears and could not grasp the National Football League playbook.
I don't think it's hard to grasp Vance Joseph playbook as well, too, of how pathetic that offense was last season. Again, not to knock the guy, but come on now. You've learned under the greats. You've had times to work or at least mesh with this Broncos system, and you still can't get it done. You're having this other guy take over. I don't know. Again, Paxton Lynch. Sorry, your tenure, your time with the Denver Broncos is up after this week.
Well, Broncos President of Football Operations, General Manager John Elway, has often professed his preference to use just 2 roster spots at quarterback. However, Trevor Siemian played well enough in the preseason of 2015 for the Broncos to keep him as a rookie, number 3 behind Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. The Broncos also kept 3 quarterbacks after Siemian was injured on the roster for much of last season. So I don't know. I
feel like you take a grain of salt with anything that John Elway says or what he does. I mean, this guy, again, as much as he was great on field, but in a managerial position.
He's got a Super Bowl as a GM now, remember.
I really
he's been to 2 Super Bowls as the GM vice president.
Yeah, one was pretty pathetic, at least a beatdown by the Seahawks. But, again, it seems of recent it's kind of questionable moves with this guy of, again, how much were those Super Bowl winning teams, especially in Super Bowl 50, were because of John Elway, of his moves? I don't think a whole lot. It seemed like that Broncos team was kind of put in pieces there. Again, getting at least with
brought in by John Elway, making trades.
Whatever.
Where was, picked up on a...
How about you talking to Mike so people can
he
hear?
was picked up on a trade. So, again, I think, you better back off there because he did put that team together. He did architect that team. Let's see.
I think he got lucky, and that was about it.
And he also
all these pieces that he's bringing in right now are not doing.
He got rid of Fox, the coach, because they were never getting to that next level under John Fox, and then they brought in Gary Kubiak, and Kubiak got him to that next level. In the race for the backup quarterback position right now, Chad Kelly in the preseason is 28 of 41, 68%, 340 yards, 3 TDs, and interception. Lynch, 14 of 29. 48.3% for 102 yards to go with 1 interception.
TikTok at top of the hour because we have guests. So
yeah, so I'm just saying I don't think Paxton's going to make the.
No, you're insane if you think if he will.
All right, we are going to take a timeout. Come back with hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue, the Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. You can call 635-4592 and talk with Tim, get things all set up with him. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Across the street, it's First Year Bank, open Monday through Friday at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Lennox Auto Body with a couple of locations. You'll find the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, where they're very busy these days, and the Auto Body Shop, Auto and Truck Body Shop on Dunn Avenue, very busy these days as well. But there's a plethora of bays to get the work done and done properly. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always. You will find them on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank with 2 banking locations. Eastsiders, you can catch them right there at the corner of College and Pershing with all the banking services available. And, of course, the original location on Vandehigh. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way, where the lot of Kias needs to go bye-bye because the 2019s are beginning to rear their heads into town. So, again, you want to take advantage of some great deals on 2018 models of Kia.
What was that verbiage? Were there? Yeah, just get a Kia. Just get a Kia like I did. I love the thing.
Do you want to go back to the questions you were asking Mr. Berryhill?
Again, I had a brain fart.
Yeah, you are a brain fart. Anyway, Let's talk about Chick-fil-A, where they have delicious breakfast, lunch, and dinners. for you 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday at the corner Windmill and Dell Range, directly across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, where they invite you to come on by, check out the Jayco fifth wheels and travel trailers. Again, they've been hit by hail, so I'm sure you're going to find a heck of a deal over at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And Taco John's of Cheyenne, loaded potato olays, 6-pack and a pound, sirloin steak burrito. They're home for Taco Tuesday. Every Tuesday, that's Taco John's of Cheyenne.
Again, that sirloin steak is only available until, I do believe, next week, and then it's off.
Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, it's off the menu. So you better get it now, right?
I would advise you to get it now and tomorrow and Friday and all of next week. So, again, Taco John's of Cheyenne. We want to thank them for being a part of our Wyoming Sports Talk today. And we go to our scoreboard. We couldn't get our scoreboard away without first recognizing the great folks at Pepsi of Cheyenne, who sponsors our scoreboard here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and all of our high school and collegiate scoreboards during the football and basketball seasons. Nick?
Speaking of collegiate with LCCC, women's volleyball in action coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. They will be on the road, however, at Western Nebraska Community College. It will be a battle of the nationally ranked teams, as LCCC coming into this contest and ranked number 12 overall in the nation. And for Western Nebraska, they are the number 4 team in women's volleyball. So, again, a battle of elites. Good luck to the Golden Eagles of LCCC. Hopefully they come away with a victory tonight and get the upset over the number 4 Western Nebraska Community College Cougars.
Major League Baseball, they have moved to the top of the 7th inning, and the Padres at Petco continuing to pound the Mariners 8-1. Final from earlier today, that was the suspended game due to weather. It was the Cubs winning 2-1 in 11 innings, and then the Mets taking the nightcap 10-3 at Wrigley. Royals have defeated the Motor City Kitties of Detroit 9-2. The Astros, with a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th inning, have beaten the Oakland Athletics 5-4. Familia losing the game for the A's, and Osuna picking up the win for the Astros. A couple of trades that were very key during the trade deadline for both Houston as well as Oakland. Games that are going to get underway here, matter of fact, within the next 20 minutes or so. The Red Sox at Fenway hosting the Miami Marlins. Blue Jays will have a date with the Orioles at Camden Yards. White Sox and the Yankees in the Bronx. Nats at the Phillies. Twins will take on the Indians at Progressive Field. Brewers and the Reds at Great American Ballpark. Rays and the Bravos at around 5:30 at SunTrust Park. Dodgers in the 6 o'clock hour facing the Rangers. 6:15 it'll be the Pirates and the Cardinals at Busch. And the Giants will host the Diamondbacks at AT&T with Derek Rodriguez opposed by Zach Godley coming up this evening in San Francisco. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing
Cheyenne, or call 635-3712. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 82 and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15. And tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 51. On Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 84. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hopefully, our next guest will get a chance. And again, we know how busy he is, and we're trying to track down.
And again,
Kevin
try to book our guests as well. Again, nothing against him. It was more so maybe it was an issue with our email server, which has been having problems for 2 weeks. So again, was not able to confirm everything with him today, but it was a shot in the dark to see if he could join.
You know, the guy is
to
being
be full front,
yeah.
at least to be full front and honest with the audience. Again, it was a situation of again where hopefully he will be able to join us. If not, again, we will have another guest coming up at 4:30. Again, Chris Brentel from Basin Radio Network talking Thunder Basin Bolts with us again about the football program, recapping a little bit from the Central game and looking forward of, is this team something to – is it a for real team? Is it a team that could compete?
Is a contender or a pretender? Yeah, that's the way we're going to look at it. I want to mention real quick, we'll go back to the National Football League because we mentioned the one trade of quarterbacks. The Jets clarified their crowded quarterback situation today. They traded Teddy Bridgewater. You know, I feel really bad for this young man. And again, obviously, you know,
he's dealt with injuries again.
Yeah,
he had the good
injury he had at Minnesota. Yeah. That shouldn't happen to anybody.
No,
but
it seems like his career since then has kind of tailed downwards. Yeah. Again, it just seems like he's not going to be able to fully recover from that knee injury, and it's a very interesting situation of where his career is at this point in time. Especially being traded from the New York Jets, obviously, and a little bit does surprise me, but also, too, again, from my opinion, I always thought Sam Darnold was going to be your Week 1 starter. It was announced today as well that he will be, and again, it's right now. Obviously, you had a crowded backfield there with, at least in the quarterback situation with New York Jets. You had to make that decision.
Darnold, McCown, who's 39 years old, by the way.
Well, and McCown, who somewhat turned around the Jet season, or at least showed some that he could be good, or again, whatever that was that they had last season. It just seemed like it was a little crowded, and obviously you have to go with. It seems, maybe is it time to call a career for Teddy Bridgewater?
I don't know. Again, I mean, the kid's 25 years old. I know.
Because now he's at this point. He is a journeyman quarterback right now. He's going to be a backup. But I don't think he's a starter any other team. He might compete for, for whatever reason, maybe Arizona or, again, for a starting position. I don't think he has it at this point in time on any NFL roster, at least to be a starting QB.
Well, he was unloaded to New Orleans today for a third-round draft pick in 2019. Interesting, the Jets went into training camp looking to trade Bridgewater, who's only 25 years old, whom they signed to a one-year, $6 million contract. They've already paid him $1 million in bonus money. I mean, not too bad to be in camp for, a couple of months?
Yeah.
So, again, Teddy Bridgewater has been given the hasta la vista by the New York Jets, and
I think going to New Orleans, that's a perfect landing spot for him, obviously, to be behind Drew Brees out there, and who knows what the Saints are going to do, or at least Drew Brees kind of getting there in the long and tooth. It's a situation, maybe this helps him. Maybe he learns under Drew Brees again, where they have a good core out there to help develop quarterbacks. So it looks like our guest is here.
Let's go ahead and head right to the phone lines here and say good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. Are we speaking with the one, the only, Mr. Kevin McKinney?
Indeed, you are.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us, Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Wyoming. I know we probably have you for a few minutes because you're being tugged 18,000 ways, and you don't know how much we appreciate
He's got to prepare his notes for Washington State.
Well, I appreciate him jumping on board. Kevin, I want to get to two breaking issues before we talk about Las Cruces last weekend, upcoming weekend. First off, sad note that Kellen Overstreet has decided to call it a career at the University of Wyoming, and again, one of those young men that just couldn't overcome the injury bug through his career.
Yeah, I really it's very sad for him because he's such a heck of a good guy and obviously a very good contributor to the program. So it's one of those things that I know it's very hard on him, but in the long run, it's probably the best thing for him.
And then also too, we had the announcement yesterday that the Wyoming Cowboys and the BYU Cougars, now of course they got together at the Poinsettia Bowl here a couple seasons back, but now we're going to renew acquaintances again, correct me if I'm wrong, 2022 at Provo and then 2024 in Laramie, a home and homer.
That's correct. Yeah, we I'll tell you something, you guys, it's not that easy to schedule. And I think, we've gotten some negative about scheduling those guys, but they've always been a great rival, and I think it'll be a heck of a good game.
Yeah, anytime, I guess in my years here, even during the lean years of the Cowboys, for some reason the chin straps got buckled up, and the two teams battled out on the gridiron.
It is a heated rivalry. It's
on
the level
of CSU Wyoming. It is a very good rivalry. It is not the Wyoming CSU rivalry, but it's been a good rivalry in at least my time that I've been here, Kevin.
Oh yeah, through the years, people, I think, look forward to that game almost as much as CSU and more than Utah back in the day. It was the BYU game always seemed to get everybody's ire up, and what I've heard from people as well, they left us, we shouldn't be playing them, but it's still a rivalry, and it's still a good draw, I think, for a home game for Wyoming. So that was the reason that it was done.
Speaking of Utah, though, it does, and again, understanding that how difficult it is to schedule non-conference opponents and trying to work out those negotiation contracts, but does this, especially with the addition to BYU, could we possibly see in the future for Wyoming, does this open the door for a Utah Utes to play a home and away? Maybe other former Mountain West opponents of, again, I'll toss it out, but I don't think it'll happen, but maybe a TCU Horned Frogs team that now plays in the Big 12. Does it kind of open up doors at least teams we haven't seen, at least in Laramie, for quite some time now?
Yeah, absolutely it does, Nick. In fact, we are playing Utah here down the road a ways. So they are on the schedule in the future, like BYU is. TCU, I would say that would be probably more difficult, but it's a little easier when you were with those guys so many years and you were conference mates for so long. It's a little easier to schedule those guys. I think, and it's never going to happen, but I think we should be playing CU every year. We should be playing Nebraska every year. We should be playing our neighbors, especially with the escalating cost of travel. It's a lot easier to play somebody close, but they won't play Wyoming, and probably it'll be a long time before they do it again. And that's too bad. I think you want to play your neighbors. I think it's good for your fan bases, and it's just a good thing for college athletics. But it doesn't happen. So you play the Utahs. You play, if you can, you would play Colorado. I don't see that in the future, but would love to play Nebraska home and away, and but those things are probably not going to happen. But it's good that Utah and BYU are at least interested in playing Wyoming still.
We're talking with Kevin McKinney, Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Wyoming. Kevin, let's go back to last Saturday, Las Cruces. I know we don't have a lot of time to revel in this performance by the Cowboys, but again, I sat here, and I know you had a great seat for it, and I had a great lazy boy to watch it on Saturday, but I got to tell you, that defense, it lived up to the billing, and it was like, this team right here, this is Craig Bull's kids that he brought in, and the fruits of the labor, so to speak, boy, it really shows Saturday night.
Oh yeah, that's how he likes to play, and that's how he recruited to play that way. And so he was beaming from ear to ear after that game, and he should have. That defense. You're never quite sure until you get out there. You thought they were going to be good, and there's been a lot of hype about them. But when you actually see them on the playing field against another opponent, and the way they run and the way they hit, and they're just everything that we thought they would be. But the way the Cowboys ran the ball was the most pleasing thing, I believe. We kind of expected that from the defense, but to run the ball like that with 3 redshirt freshmen in your offensive line was that was really good, because it really had no idea how those guys were going to perform. Nico had a really good spring. He had a really good fall, and the way he had changed his body and worked so hard for this, I kind of thought he would have a good game. I didn't think he'd gain 190 yards, but I thought he would have a good game, and he is a different guy, and he proved that. But those offensive linemen proved something as well.
It's interesting you mentioned Nico Evans, and again, the offensive line. How much, and again, Kevin, you've been around a lot of years, so you know the football game, hopefully even better than I do. But the point is, at UW, how much of Nico Evans and that offensive line taking the pressure off our young redshirt freshman Tyler Vanderwall? Yeah,
and that was certainly terrific. To the game plan was going to be like it was, a lot of short passes to medium passes for Tyler, getting him comfortable with being the starter. They didn't really put a lot of pressure on him, but didn't have to put any pressure on him. The way the running game went, all he was doing was handing the ball off, and that's a really good way to get comfortable for sure. And that helped him immensely. And so that, I think we'll see a lot of improvement from him from that game to this game. Only went deep a couple times, and he did miss those, but I think that having gone through that, he'll be a much better guy this week.
From this past Saturday, at least with New Mexico State, a team that I've said is kind of equivalent, not a top, what would be, if they were in the Mountain West, a top Mountain West team, but something that Wyoming could certainly see throughout this Mountain West Conference. Now, what we saw on Saturday, is that something we could see through the Mountain West Conference coming up? Again, the likes of CSU, at least having Utah State come here. Also, too, seeing a Boise State. What we saw on Saturday, is that something we could expect coming in Mountain West Conference play this season?
The way the Cowboys played, Nick, or the way New Mexico was?
At least for the Cowboys. If if they're taking on a Utah State of the world or CSU, any of the Mountain West Conference opponents coming up this season, can we see replications? Is it possible that what we saw on this Saturday we can kind of expect throughout the season?
Well, I guarantee you that the Cowboys will try to be physical in the running game. You can count on that, and that's every week. That's the bowl way, and so I think he feels good that they can do that. Now, we were able to do it with Brian Hill. We were not able to do it last year, so they tried it and tried it, didn't work. But the way it went Saturday, you're going to see that every week. Now, I do think that there'll probably be more vertical routes for Tyler as he becomes more comfortable. He's an accurate passer. He's proven that. So, the long balls that he did try to Price and to Rocket were just overthrown, which is better than underthrown by far. But I think he'll be able to. He's capable of hitting those. So we'll see probably a little more of that as we move along. But every conference opponent is going to get a big dose of Wyoming's running game.
Did we come out of that contest, and again, I hope you can give us an up-to-the-minute update on Austin Ford, but did we come out of that particular contest relatively injury-free as we get ready for the Cougars?
Absolutely. Almost outside of Austin, it was injury-free, and that was a tough injury on Austin. He will not play this week, and he's probably going to be week to week. So there's a guy that, like Nico and many others, but like Nico, worked really hard to change his body, and he was ready to have a heck of a year as a team captain and all that. And that was very unfortunate for Austin to have to get that injury. We'll hope he'll get back as soon. I don't know when that's going to be, but they need him. He's a major weapon in that offense at the tight end position.
I asked this question to the spokesperson for Washington State yesterday.
That would be one Theo Lawson.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you the same question. Do the Cowboys hold a little bit of advantage heading into this contest, especially at home? Probably going to draw more fans now because fans are like, wow, want to see this defense, and again, also see the Cougars. But do the Cowboys hold a little bit of advantage by getting that one game under their belt and getting the butterflies, so to speak, out of their stomachs?
Well, no question about it. I think in Washington State's case, they're going to have a new quarterback in there like the Cowboys did last week. So if you have a veteran coming back, maybe it's not as big a deal, but they only have 4 guys returning on one side of the ball and 6 on the other, so they have a lot of new guys, and that's always kind of a crapshoot in your opening game to see how they perform. So it's usually good to get one under your belt, as you say, before you go into a tough game. But I definitely think the Cowboys have a bit of advantage having played a game, having gone through it, and that is always, I think, a positive for a team. We'll see. That doesn't always hold true, but generally it does.
And a lot of oars on that depth chart as well, too, that Kevin's kind of referencing. A lot of oars behind that quarterback position of it could be that guy or someone else, according to Mike Leach.
Yeah, he's not being definitive on anybody.
Leach. Yeah, no, that's how he does. You know, he, as Craig Bowl said the other day, Mike Leach is great for college football, not only because of the way he is and his sense of humor, but he's just a very creative offensive guy, and college football needs that. He marches to a different drummer, and I think that's good for college football.
Hey, final question I have for you, and again, I know we're keeping it on the football mode, and we also had a chance to talk to Brian Berryhill, who's going to bring his cross-country team over here on Friday evening. But I wanted to just stay on football one last thing, and I try to keep an eye on the entire ball game, and one of the things that I'm seeing the improvement in with this young man is the leg of Cooper Roth. I'm seeing that improvement season by season right now, and I think he's going to be a whale of a three-point expert for us if we need him to go distances for us.
Amen. I totally agree, Larry. He is a guy who has continued to improve each and every year, and the way he kicks off now, he's just a very confident kicker, and that's how they roll. If they're going to be successful, they have to have confidence. I think Cooper has a great deal of confidence right now that not only can he kick off effectively, but he can make field goals, and he's certainly proving that. He's a very, very solid weapon for this team, and he's only going to get better.
Kevin, we look forward to the upcoming contest this Saturday afternoon at the War, and that'll be a 1:30 kickoff, and hopefully we'll get a chance to run it to you up in the press box on Saturday.
Hopefully so. Always good talking to you guys. That's going to be a big game. I mean, the weather's good. 1:30 kickoff we always like, and you're playing a Pac-12 opponent. I think it should be a heck of a fun afternoon.
Well, if the Cowboys defense gives us any indication of playing similar like they did at Las Cruces, I think Washington State is going to have a long afternoon. As long as we don't give them any short fields like we did against Oregon, I think we could have a lot of fun on this one.
Yeah, that's going to be the key, is the turnover. There weren't any in the first game, unusually enough, but turnovers will be big in this one.
All righty, Kevin, we will talk to you later. Thank you again for joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
You're welcome. Take care.
Kevin McKinney, the senior athletic director at the senior associate athletic director at the University of Wyoming. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to talk with Chris Brennell, who's the sports director at the Basin Radio Network, after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes.
(1515) Logan Avenue is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I do believe we got Chris Brennell, sports director at the Basin Radio Network, joining us on the line. Chris, good afternoon. How you doing?
What is up, man? How you doing?
Hey, it was really nice to chat with you again last week as we got ready for Week 1 with the Bolts and the Indians. And by golly, we sent you back to Cheyenne again to take on the South High Fighting Bison. But we wanted to bring you on and talk about the Bolts this season again. I saw them last year.
We just want to know if this team is a contender or pretender in this 4A.
And we're going to get into all of that. But again, Chris. We saw them last year up there when they took on South High, and of course we got to see them on Week 1. First and foremost, I have to tip my cap of the performance by Mason Hamilton. I think we looked at one of the premier quarterbacks in this Class 4A ranks.
I would agree, and he was a sophomore last year. He split time with a veteran quarterback that knows the game like Keaton Wilkerson, and I think it paid dividends for this guy. 12 of 20 in his first game, 239 yards throwing, 4 touchdowns. He was really good. He had presence in the pocket, and he's not known as a runner, but a few times he read the zone read correctly, made the right read, got a few yards with his legs. Very good start to this football season from Thunder Basin. I think that what makes me believe that this football team can be really good is, I think, in my opinion, the question marks are the back end of the defense, which you're talking the young secondary. Not a lot of experience there. Basically 3 new starters in the secondary. And then to me, the other question mark, something Thunder Basin had issues with a year ago, running the football downhill. They only averaged 3.2 yards per carry last year, so that offensive line is the other question mark. And in that central game, they both did well. So both of the question marks really paid dividends for this football team. I mean, the secondary came up, got an interception. They didn't really let Central get in a groove, and then the offensive line pushed people around and did really well. Now, I don't think anybody's surprised. And, this is no knock against Cheyenne Central, but they have a first-year coach. It's going to take them a while to get going. But I don't think anybody's surprised that Thunder Basin beat Central. But I think people were a little surprised at how they did it because, let's face it, Thunder Basin, if you actually look on paper, you could make the argument that they on paper are worse than they were a year ago. I mean,
especially at the skill positions, you got a lot of young talent there.
Well, and it's also too surprising of what was last year's result as well too up there in Gillette between these two at least teams. Where again, a lot of these at least starters that we saw were younger, at least again a year younger last year, and at least put up a fight. And this, at least on our side, was certainly surprising of just how big of a blowout it certainly was, especially on the home turf here in Risky Field.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said in my post-game show, it was like, hey, there's no surprise they won, but it was close a year ago. I mean, that was a 34-29 game, and Thunder Basin just went down there, and I believe they scored on 5 of their first 6 drives, something like that. I mean, they were really dominant. I called it a methodical win because it was just, they drove the football down the field. They used the running game. They threw it when they needed to. Tyson Edwards was really good in the football game. He scored 2 rushing scores and a receiving score. And it was just very businesslike. And then on the defensive side of the football, that defensive line was dominant.
Yeah, I like how you say
whenever your defensive line's dominant, of course, that really helps out the linebackers, the secondary.
I like how you say it was methodical. I said it was they were surgically dissecting Cheyenne Central. So I'm older than you, so I can say those kind of things. Hey, let's talk about a couple things though with the Bolts on the defensive side. Dayton Porter, who's in the secondary. I think he's going to be a very top-notch performer for the Bolts this year. And as you mentioned too, I guess from Tyson Edwards on the offensive side, were you surprised? And again, I really liked how he ran, as he ran low and went behind the blockers. Once they opened up the holes. But again, that interior that you have along the front line. They're going to provide a lot of yardage for one Tyson Edwards this season.
Well, he's exactly the kind of runner that kind of goes along with what Thunder Basin wants to do. They want to run downhill. They want to spread you out. And Edwards he's a downhill runner. But I like the fact that in that first game he was patient, and I think it really shows his growth. Because last season there were times where he wasn't nearly as patient, and he had some issues running the football. Now his numbers wouldn't show up, but I'm talking like against very stout defenses. So I thought it was a good performance by Tyson Edwards. I thought it was a good performance by the offensive line. And let's just see if they can keep doing it. I think this team has a lot of potential because really that offense is going to go by the run game. If they can spread you out, run downhill, then they're going to open up the play-action pass, which you saw against Central. Then they can throw it out on the edges, get it to their playmakers. And, of course, Blaine Allen was really good. 4 catches, 91 yards, had a 69-yard touchdown. And, he is a playmaker for the Blaine Allen, I bring him up because last year his first start in varsity was against Kelly Walsh in that playoff game. He had 6 catches over 100 yards and then 4 catches, 91 in his second start. So that is really scary if Thunder Basin can get their running game going and really get the play action going.
In the win against Cheyenne Central and Coach Pakula, kind of called off the dog, so to speak. Maybe a couple of series into the third period, which went forever at Risky Field. And again, they're going to be taking on a South team that probably is going through some tough times as well. Obviously,
just as young as Central.
Yeah, indicative by the score that they had last week against Casper and Natrona. But the point I'm driving at for Coach Pakula, I think he needs his squad out there for 4 quarters, but also too he wants to take his foot off the pedal as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that you're right. They did kind of call off the dogs a little bit, and they put in their backup quarterback, Dylan Hayden. And we haven't talked about the linebackers, the way the linebackers played. And the reason I bring them up, because against Cheyenne South, against that Wayne T, their linebackers are so key. I mean, I know the D-line's really key, but those linebackers have to come downhill and hit you. You got guys like Terrence Swartz, Caleb Driscoll. Those guys will come downhill. Riley Mitchell's in there, too. They'll come downhill and hit you. And then I think really one of the biggest things about this Friday's game at South is the fact that Jason Gill, who was the Camel defensive coordinator for a long time under Vic Wilkerson, is now Trent Pakula's defensive coordinator at Thunder Basin, and he is very good at preparing against the wing T offense. So, I mean, he kind of knows how to approach it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Cheyenne South, they got potential too. They got, a new quarterback, stuff like that, and you just never know what might happen. But I remember a couple of years ago, the Camels went into Cheyenne South, and Cheyenne South was 3-0, and they played really well. They were running the football extremely well, and Jason Gill, he just if you look back when Thunder Basin and or back then the Campbell County Camels played, say, a wing T, they played South or Rock Springs, Jason Gills had tremendous success against it. I'm going to ask him this week what his secret is. I'm not really. I think it's just like Mountain Dew or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just get all hopped up on Mountain Dew, go tackle the ball carrier. I'm not sure.
We're talking with Chris Brittle, sports director at the Basin Radio Network, who will be in town tomorrow evening again as he makes
makes another fun trip out to.
Yeah, he's digging it. You know, we've made that trip many times to Gillette as well too. But again, he'll come to Cheyenne South. It'll be the Fighting Bison matching up with the Bolts of Thunder Basin. Let me ask you this, Chris.
What day is it today? What day is it today?
It's Wednesday.
Okay, and so the game, you said I'm coming up there tomorrow night.
Oh, I'm sorry, Friday night. I was going to rush you down here. Yeah.
I was in a panic. Like, oh no, did I screw up the schedule?
No. It's just they moved our game at East up an hour too. So
it's just another senior moment for you. It's okay.
It's like I always get these memos late in the day. Anyway, real quick here for the game Friday night at Cheyenne South. Let's look back on Week 1. Any surprises in Week 1? I mean, obviously the best game was at Harry Gelding Stadium between John Vance's Casper Kelly Walsh Trojans and the Laramie Plainsmen. But I mean, looking at the scoreboard over the weekend, did anything shock you?
No, Kelly Walsh. You know, they got the win. I know people, they were ranked third in the preseason polls. They have a lot of potential, which they do, but they're just not going to blow teams out. You know, they're going to keep it close. To me, that's just what they do. So in reality, that score didn't shock me a whole lot with Kelly Walsh, and I'm not sitting here saying they're not very good. I'm sitting here saying that they're a really good football team, but they're just not going to blow teams out. That's really not what they do. I mean, if you look at the playoff game against Thunder Basin last year, that was kind of, let's use your, what term did you use instead of methodical?
Surgically dissected.
That's kind of what they did. I mean, Thunder Basin had issues scoring the football in that game, but I mean, yeah, Kelly Walsh is a good football team. I wasn't really shocked at Natrona. I mean, they just kind of reload year in and year out. Very good football team, and of course Sheridan. I mean, how could you pick against Sheridan right now? I mean, the way they've done the last 3 years, and they had a good start to their season. I think Rock Springs, though, I think they could surprise some people.
You know, I look again, and I go back here to your Thunder Basin team, and again with your offensive line / defensive front four. I mean, again, just totally dominated Cheyenne Central in the win. Again, these are the guys up front that are going to make things happen on both sides of the football. Is it enough this season for Thunder Basin? And again, I guess the next question would be, too, is there the depth behind these guys as well?
That's going to be the question for this football team, is the depth. What I do like is the D-line depth they have. And I think that's what can really carry this football team to be really competitive against the Natronas, against the Sheridans. I think right now you have Natrona, Sheridan, head and shoulders above everybody. And then Thunder Basin, I think, at the 3 position is right there, staunchly there. And then I think they're a little better right now than Cheyenne East. But again, this is after one football game. But to me, that's the key. And Tripakula, the second-year Bullhead coach, talks about all the time. You got to win football games in the trenches. And Thunder Basin, they've got a good offensive line. They've got a good defensive line. I don't see why they couldn't compete. Now, to sit here and say, hey, you know what? I mean, they're going to just roll Natrona, or, hey, they're going to roll Sheridan. I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I really do think they have the chance to compete because of that offensive and defensive line. And that depth on the D-line is a really big thing. They only allowed 14 yards rushing to Central last Friday.
All right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted, because I know we got to let you go here real quick. Across town, the Camels, they got walloped by Cheyenne East, and we'll have East and KW coming up here Friday evening over at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. What are you hearing with the Camel situation right now?
Well, this football team, I think everybody knows the story. They lost all their players a year ago. Kids could decide whether to go to Thunder Basin or Campbell County, or the seniors could, I should say. And a lot of kids chose Thunder Basin, so Campbell County is basically starting from scratch. Now, if you look at they have 9 returners on offense, 8 returners on defense. You think, oh, they're experienced, but they're still so young. It's going to take a while to get the program going. But Micah Christensen, he's a stand-up guy, and he just focused on really making each individual player better. That's his focus. So I think the program's in really good hands. I think it's just going to take a while.
All righty. Hey, Chris, we thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Good luck on your calls coming up on Friday evening.
All right, man. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you for joining us, Chris Brindle.
It's been a pleasure.
Sports Director at the Basin Radio Network, joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We are going to take a time out. We'll come back with more after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Get the unexpected with the new 2018 Kia Sorento. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and with Kia Sorento, you get intelligent and advanced technology for a better driving experience. The 2018 Kia Sorento helps you stay on course with available autonomous emergency braking and a lane departure warning system. Kia Sorento is also available with surround view monitor and parking assist to warn you of nearby vehicles. Come in today or call us at 775-0123 or go to KiaofCheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 K-Ray, and you can stream live with us at 1480kray.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a six-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 82 and winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 51. On Thursday, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 84. And on Thursday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Late in the day on Wyoming Sports Talk today, Larry Peretti, Nick Peretti, and again, apologize getting Chris rushed down here on a. I know it's I know it's Wednesday, and wanted to should have said Friday night against the.
Instead, you didn't, and
I got them all. I freaked them out. But here's another thing.
I don't think you freaked them out. It was more so of what I would do of calling you out of going, well, that was wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. When we had Kevin McKinney on, and I have it here in my hands, this is the upcoming future football schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, too, we'll have that rehashed again, too, what you did earlier today.
No.
So just taking a look, upcoming opponents for teams that we have now signed.
Well, we know 2 teams out of Utah, at least out of the state of Utah.
Yeah.
One being BYU again, where it will be in Provo 2022, and 2024 they will return back here to Laramie.
At 2025, they will be at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. So for next season, Mizzou will come here.
Obviously.
We'll go to Texas State. The Idaho Vandals come to Laramie next year.
Welcome back after the last time they were here. They got destroyed by the Cowboys.
We'll be at Tulsa next season. So for 2020, it's Weber State here. We go to Texas Tech. Then we will have Utah. We'll have Utah here. So the Utes will be in town on the 2020 season, and then we go to Ball State.
Yeah, whatever. It's reading off those non-conference opponents. It's very refreshing. It's very at least comforting, especially that this team, and again, that's probably to Tom Berman, who we will talk with at least tomorrow, but again, that whole staff there at the University of Wyoming working these contracts, but also to working deals to get these power conference teams into Laramie, or at least having the opportunity to say, here, let's test our stuff against a Texas Tech, a Utah, a BYU. Let's see what we have against you guys and see if we can put up our best. Again, it's very comforting instead of hearing, and again, nothing against Montana State or a Montana of the world or a Weber State. Again, we saw how many years under Dave Christensen, at least those kind of rough years of a Weber or those kind of FCS teams, where it's like, well, we know you're going to beat them. It's kind of the same situation. You should beat them, but it's comforting that, hey, Wyoming's kind of stepping outside of the reach, being a little aggressive, not too aggressive like a CSU would at least last year of going, let's take on an Alabama, but it's comforting of going, all right, here's teams that are in the Power 5. We think we could compete with them. They're not going to completely destroy us, or at least we don't think so, and let's see what we're made of. Let's kind of prove ourselves to the rest of the nation, to the rest of the world of going, hey, we play Wyoming Cowboy football. We play it very well. Also, too, it's a great recruiting tool as well of going, hey, look at what we're bringing.
Well, and here's another one for you. This is one to keep in mind, the year 2021.
My mind's already set with Idaho.
All right. This will be 2021, so we're 3 years away, September 25th. We will be in Death Valley.
LSU?
Clemson.
Oh, Death Valley, yeah.
Frank Howard Field at Clemson Memorial Stadium. So, again, we will be in Clemson, South Carolina, to take on the Tigers. How about that one?
Good luck on that.
And, again, I'm looking at some other upcoming opponents that we will have. Tulsa, Northern Colorado, at Illinois, at BYU. That's in 2022. 2023, Texas Tech, Portland State, Appalachian State, all coming to Laramie. So, again,
it's new names, new faces.
It's tough to book a lot of these teams, and again, you don't see Colorado in here. You don't see the Buffaloes.
Well, they're already tied in with your one automatic non-conference at least team of CSU and CU.
And you don't see Nebraska in here. So, and I absolutely agree with Kevin. It's a shame that we don't get those guys.
I don't think Nebraska
on a yearly basis.
I think it's kind of similar in basketball kind of sense where, Wyoming is getting that respectability. It is getting that talent and that option to upset some of these teams that might, on paper, where Nebraska probably should roll every single time against a Wyoming Cowboy team. But I wonder with Nebraska's of the world or a CU of, do we really want to schedule these guys where they could possibly upset us and maybe embarrass us again? A Nebraska Cornhuskers team that has won national championships, is known for having this football legacy where
they were also 5-7, got a bowl invite.
I get that too, but also it's maybe for the Cornhuskers it's a situation where they don't want to have a knock against their legacy of this Wyoming team upset us here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Again, not saying that's the reason, but a lot of those kind of conference, or at least those non-conference opponent scheduling conflicts is because of that of do we really want to, is the risk worth the reward?
Well, I guess you're going to have to ask Missouri next week when we beat them in Columbia.
I wouldn't get that far. I would not.
And then
I honestly do not think you should get that far ahead.
And we draw Missouri as the opener next season on August 31st.
An SEC team, has an SEC team ever stepped foot on War Memorial turf before?
I think so. We'd have to go back and look.
Or I guess Ole Miss. Wasn't Ole Miss here?
What about Tennessee? Aren't they SEC?
I thought we went to Tennessee for that victory.
Oh, sorry, they didn't come out here. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll look that up. One thing that does concern me with the Denver Broncos, and again, some of the signings they have, and I don't know.
I'm telling you, this season, the Broncos do not anticipate this is not a playoff team.
And again, I don't know why you bring a guy in that has so much baggage attached to him. And again, he puts on a great face that, hey, I'm okay. I'm a team player, and that's Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah, he's this clown who has had
35
issues.
Years old here a month from now.
He was talented at the beginning of his career, then had all sorts of issues. He wanted to become a pro wrestler for quite some time while he was suspended or didn't want to play, and now returning back, and he's nothing great shakes. It's who cares? It is this signing by the Broncos one of the biggest question marks of why. Granted, it doesn't surprise me with signing Case Keenum and a few others, but You brought him on for what reason? Why? What addition is he going to do? Pac-Man Jones has not done squat in quite some time. He is not where he was, especially on, at least in a defensive back stance. He's not one of he's a backup, if anything. He's not that great.
I'm not even all
He's
that.
a troublemaker. He's going to cause issues. He's going to be he's going to be a locker room distraction.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say so much trouble. He's a thug, and he brings baggage with him. I don't understand. And he's a 1-year deal with the Broncos. How much he plays, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll see some action. He practiced with the Broncos first time, I do believe, this week. So will he see some action tomorrow night? I don't know.
It's a dumb move. It's a dumb move. Why? There's better options out there. Really? You went with him just because of the namesake, probably, and you think that he has some sort of talent in him? He doesn't. This guy is a loser.
Yeah, and you just think back to what he did along with the linebacker, I can't think of his name right now, in Cincinnati. I mean, where they literally, those two guys, lost him a playoff game.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't need this kind of teammate on my team, to be real honest.
It just adds more to the fuel to the fire down there in Denver, where, again, this season, again, nothing against the Broncos, but, again, of just seeing that schedule and what this team is composed of, the defense is going to be solid. It's nothing going to be great shakes. It's not going to be the top defense in the NFL.
It's a good defense.
But it's not enough that's going to carry this team when Case Keenum is not being able to pass or at least get points on the board. The Broncos, again, we'll get into our picks of – we'll probably do that next week. But picks at least for who's going to win divisions and blah, blah, blah. But Denver, for me, again, everything I'm reading into, especially of how tough that AFC West is going to be with the likes of Oakland if they stay healthy, L.A. as well, even Kansas City. Kansas City is a team that could absolutely surprise people. As much as they kind of unloaded, especially removing Alex Smith, I still think Kansas City, even behind Andy Reid, can still surprise people. I think they still have a solid core, but Denver,
Mahomes there.
We don't know. We don't know. Again, it's kind of the same situation with the 49ers and Jimmy G. What can he do? We don't know. We only have a small sample size.
The Broncos are showing me they try to tell us or sell us they're taking a step forward, but it looks like they take 2 steps back.
Yeah. This is a team that's going to be thankful and lucky if they are 500 this season.
All right, let's update the ballparks here, and then we're going to get ready to wrap up here. And again, also we want to congratulate our latest winner of the ticket giveaway. First off, top of the 9th inning, Padres over the M's 8-3. Bottom of the second, Marlins 1-0 over the Bo Sox. Finals from earlier today, Cubs and the Mets splitting. The Cubs winning the suspended game in the 11th inning 2-1, and then the Astros winning the regular scheduled game 10-3. Royals have defeated the Tigers 9-2. Astros moved to 2.5 games in front of the Athletics in the AL West with a 5-4 win at Minute Maid this afternoon. All right, we had a winner drawn by Nick. Tickets going to see the Cowboys of Washington State.
Dustin Keener is our winner for today. Again, we will have one opportunity tomorrow. Again, one more pair of tickets to give away tomorrow. So again, get those entries over to the Facebook side if you've not already entered, and also too on the Twitter side as well too. Again, we're competing from both sides and adding them into the Fishbowl of Awesomeness to have that opportunity to go see Wyoming versus Washington State coming up this Saturday, 1:30 kickoff time in Laramie. So again, congratulations to Dustin Keener. Earlier, at least from Monday, was Sean Schneidmiller, and then Tuesday's contest winner was Paul Hardigan. So congratulations to those 3 winners. We have a 4th to be decided tomorrow.
Our football broadcast this Friday, 5:30 pregame, kickoff at 6 p.m. at the Okie Blanchard.
Not 7, 6.
6 p.m. at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. Cheyenne East will be taking on Casper Keller Walsh, Nick, myself.
The reason why they're moving it up is
Chris
we'll have
at
least an extended halftime show because they will be doing a Hall of Fame, I do believe.
Oh, they're honoring their instructors out there. You have to read the.
I thought you said it was Hall of Fame.
Well, it's more of honoring their Laramie County.
Anyways, we'll have an elongated halftime show, so they had to move it up. So, anyways, on this date, we'll move in as it is near the top of the hour, but it is August 29th. We'll go back to the year 2012. This, how do I put this?
6 years ago.
6 years ago, this figurehead of a certain sport had his at least his accomplishments removed.
Would that be one bike rider in Armstrong?
There you go. Yeah, on this day back in August 29, 2012, the USADA claims at least it stripped Lance Armstrong of his 7 Tour de France titles due to doping.
All right, we've got coming up for you the Golden Age